Rev up your engines!
MH Telly says, Scotty, do you care for the Ford Coyote 5-liter motor they put in F-150s and Mustangs? Yes, it's an excellent engine. Great, powerful V8 engine. You know, they're really well made. Now, some of those had transmissions that had problems. It wasn't the engine's fault. The engines are real strong. But some of those, the transmissions went out of them, especially some of the standard transmissions. They started making them in China. Yes, in China. I had a customer who went through 4 standard transmissions on that Coyote engine. 4 of them on a Mustang, and they finally just said the heck with it, and they got rid of it. Now they got free ones because they were under warranty, but I mean, geez, after 4 of them break down, I'd be real leery about it too. And when she found out that it was made in China, she was really mad. The engines are good though. Francisco Reyna says, how often should you use fuel injection cleaners when you fill up, sir? Well, actually, if you got a car and you take care of it, buy good fuel, never. Modern cars, at least in the United States, the fuel you buy has additives in it that are legislated by the government so they don't pollute, to make the engines run better, and so they don't burn oil. You don't need to do anything. Now, if you've got one of those horrible GDI gasoline engines, the gasoline direct injection, that only have GDI and they don't have the port injectors too, and they carbon up inside, yeah, then I would say do it at least 6 times a year and get special cleaner that's made for GDI engines because they can carbon up. But if you don't, the normal ones, you really don't never need to do it. You buy an old junker and it needs cleaning, sure, but if you buy a car and you take care of it and you put in good gasoline, you really don't need to put any additives in them. A lot of that is just salesmanship by companies that are trying to sell you something. Memes, ask Scotty, my friend, selling a 2010 Subaru WRX with a rebuilt engine at 60,000 kilometers, selling it for 10,500 Canadian. Is it worth it? What's your opinion on WRXs? Okay, you're in Canada and I lived in Toronto a long time ago. I know everything in Canada costs more money. Maybe $6,000 here in Houston. But I know in Canada they go for more. Now here's the problem. I would demand paperwork from whoever rebuilt it, what kind of guarantee the guy gave. If he has none, he says, well, this guy rebuilt it for me, don't even think about buying it. Then you're going to get absolute paperwork and then research the guy that did it, see if he really knows what he's doing, or it's just some guy that put a head gasket in it because it blew the head gasket. Now, if it actually was rebuilt correctly, and especially if it's a standard transmission, a lot of the WRXs are standards, go ahead and buy it if you like the vehicle, but make sure it was rebuilt correctly. Ken Lee says, hey, Scotty, should I get a Honda Fit or a Toyota Yaris? Well, in that case, I'd get the Fit. And here's why. Toyota Yaris isn't a Toyota. It's just a rebadged Mazda. They're made by Mazda, and they call them Toyota Yarises. And the Honda Fits are much better. They got better engines, better transmissions than what the Mazda has in it. So I'd go with a Honda there. Now, especially if you drive a standard transmission. The Hondas are okay with the automatics, but with the standard, they're excellent vehicles. Even with an automatic, though, I'd still go with the Honda because Mazda automatic transmissions stink. And that Toyota Yaris is really a Mazda. Mr. Cartoon Kid 12 says, Scotty, how are the facelifted 98 to 2001 R129 SL 500s in reliability? The engines are well made. Mercedes makes very good engines. There's no arguing that. Now, it's a 500, so it's pretty much of a gigantic gas hog in town. They're a heavy vehicle with a big V8 engine. They just suck that gas down. All the electronics, the automatic transmission, all that stuff can turn into endless money pits. Old now, but 82,000 miles is low mileage for a car that's a 21-year-old car, so that's real low mileage if it's 82,000 miles. Don't pay much, though. They're worth nothing in the real world. Don't pay that much money for them. You get one cheap enough and you want a weekend toy, go right ahead, but don't think about buying one of those and think you're going to drive it as an everyday driver and put 15,000, 20,000 miles a year on it. It would bankrupt you. Joe Martin says, can a clogged catalytic converter make your car start and then die? It certainly can. It's just like stuffing potatoes in an exhaust, which kids did when I was young. When they wanted to fool somebody, they'd shove a potato up exhaust. The guy's car wouldn't run right, and they'd go nuts trying to figure it out. Unless they were smart and just went to the tailpipe and put their hand at the end and saw that hardly any air was puffing out when it was running, they know it was clogged up. That's one way you can test a clogged catalytic converter. Go to any normal car when it's ice cold so you don't burn yourself. Start it up. Put your hand on the exhaust coming out the back, and you'll feel it puffing out. You know that's normal. You can feel it. Then if it's clogged up, if you touch it and hardly anything comes out, you know it's clogged up. Now, we mechanics have gauges. We take out the oxygen sensor, and we screw in a gauge, and we see the pressure. And the pressure should only be maybe 1.5 psi. And if it's 5 to 8 before the cat and then nothing after it, you know that the cat's clogged and it needs to be replaced. It's pretty easy to check, but it will make a car stall out.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.